Hey, what is up everybody? It's Animac here for AnimeUproar, and we finally know the true identity, the real name, and the secret history of Asta's anti-magic devil. In this video, I will be explaining the devil's entire tragic backstory and his connection to Asta and other characters in the story, including the devil who is potentially the strongest devil of all, Lucifer. I will also break down what these new epic revelations about Asta's devil mean for the story as a whole, and what we can expect from him in the future, so let's get into it. Before we get started, I want to thank Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Raid Shadow Legends is the epic collection RPG game played by tens of millions of people all over the world. You can play Raid anywhere, anytime on mobile and desktop. There are 10 challenging dungeons to take down, a thrilling story campaign with 12 different campaign locations, and hundreds of unique champions to collect. There are 25 million players worldwide that you can take on in player-to-player combat, and you can enjoy unlimited customization and endless strategic possibilities. Put all that together and you get a game that has basically endless content and countless ways to play. Raid is always getting new updates, and in fact, Raid just released the Artifact Forge, the new advanced quest system with awesome rewards, and some amazing new champions are dropping soon, along with the brand new Doom Tower. Try it out for free, just click the link down in the description, and if you act now, you get an exclusive welcome pack that contains 100,000 silver, 50 gems, 10 mystery shards, and an epic free champion, Hexweaver. Your extra rewards will be here in your inbox for the next 30 days only. If you download Raid and register in the game, you will be helping out this channel. Just click the link in the description to start playing Raid today. This video will contain Black Clover manga spoilers. We are talking about the latest developments in the story, so please proceed with caution. You have been warned. For over 5 years and for over 260 chapters, the single biggest mystery in Black Clover has been Asta's anti-magic devil. We didn't know his name, we didn't know where he came from, and we had no idea how he came to possess the incredibly unique ability known as anti-magic. I spent so much time wondering about Asta's devil and his true intentions. Was he planning on stealing Asta's body? Or did he want to team up with Asta? Was he evil like most of the other devils in the story? Or was it actually possible for a devil to be a good guy? If you've been following my Black Clover videos here on the channel, then you know how many times I've talked about these questions in the past. And now we finally have some mind-blowing answers. We know his real name, we know his tragic backstory, and we know how he came to reside inside the 5-leaf grimoire. We also know more about anti-magic itself, and we know how the devil came to be connected to Asta in particular. Finally, we now know the devil's true intentions. We know what drives him and what he intends to do with Asta, and let me tell you, these recent reveals have been absolutely epic. The devil's real name is Liebe, which means love in German. He was born inside the underworld, the dark and mysterious devil world that appears to be located deep beneath the earth. Kind of like hell is portrayed in traditional Christian literature, like for example in Dante's Inferno. The world of the devils is highly elitist and unequal. The devils are divided into different tiers, and these tiers depend entirely on the levels of mana that they possess. Devils like Lucifer stand at the very top, and devils who were born with lower levels of mana are at the bottom. In fact, since the world of the devils is apparently extremely boring, most devils pass their time by bullying and abusing those devils who are below them on the social ladder. Liebe was born into this cruel world as a devil with absolutely no magic. In this sense, he is very similar to Asta, who was also born without magic in a world where almost everyone else has it. The fact that he didn't have any magic put Liebe at the very bottom tier of the devil society, and this led to him being bullied and abused every single day of his life. He lived a miserable existence as he was constantly mocked and attacked by the other devils. And things became so bad for Liebe that he made his peace with death. It was only a matter of time before the constant abuse at the hands of the other devils eventually led to his demise. But then one day, as Liebe was being mistreated by the other devils as usual, he was thrown upward at the gate which separates the devil world from the human world. Presumably, this is the same gate that the Tree of Qliphoth is attempting to open. Both Liebe and his attackers expected his body to smash into pieces as it slammed into the gate. But instead, Liebe's body simply passed through the gate and he passed from the underworld into the human world. This is not something that anyone was expecting, but apparently it happened because the gate blocks creatures with magic from passing through, but it doesn't block creatures without magic like Liebe. Liebe then found himself inside the human world on his own. Normally, each devil from the underworld fantasizes about finding a human host which would allow him to enter the human world through that host, and this is because the human world is a lot more fun and interesting than the devil realm. But after everything that he has been through, Liebe has no desire to attack humans or to manipulate them in any way. However, because he is a devil and has the physical appearance of a devil, the humans who come across Liebe are immediately scared of him. They just assume that he must be evil and dangerous, and so they summon the magic knights to get rid of him. Liebe is forced to run from the magic knights, and he eventually collapses somewhere deep in the woods. Utterly exhausted from all the suffering that he has endured, Liebe accepts that this is the end. He has known nothing but sorrow in both the devil world and the human world, and he simply cannot take it any longer. But then something surprising happens. Instead of being killed by the humans, Liebe wakes up to find that he has been taken in by a human woman named Lichita. And this woman has been taking care of Liebe and nursing him back to health. This human woman is the first creature to ever treat Liebe with kindness and respect. She understands that he is not a bad guy just because he is a devil. Devil or not, he is an injured child who needs help. So, Lichita decides to adopt Liebe and raise him as her own son. Lichita understands Liebe better than most because she also happens to be an outcast. She lives alone in the middle of nowhere because her unique absorption magic makes her someone that the other humans fear. Lichita's body steals magic and life force from everything around her, including all living creatures. She doesn't seem to be able to turn this ability off, so she is shunned by society since no one wants their life force or magic to be drained by her. But because Liebe is a devil and because he has no magic, he is able to be around Lichita without suffering any negative consequences. Lichita believes that their encounter was meant to be, and as time passes, the two of them form an incredibly strong bond and they truly become like mother and son. It is heavily implied that at some point in the past, Lichita was forced to give up her own biological child to an orphanage, presumably because her magic made it unsafe for the child to be around her. Lichita believes that meeting Liebe was a second chance for her to be a good mother, and although it is not specifically confirmed yet, it is safe to assume that the child that Lichita was forced to give up was none other than Asta. One day, Lucifer, one of the strongest devils, if not the strongest devil, discovers that Liebe has been able to live inside the human world without the need to find a human host. Lucifer is intrigued by this, and he attempts to take over Liebe's body by force. He wants to use Liebe's body in order to operate within the human world and find a way to manifest his own real body into this world. As I said earlier, Lichita loves Liebe and considers him to be her own son. So when Lucifer tries to possess him, she sacrifices herself in order to save him. Lichita fights back against Lucifer, and she manages to force him out of Liebe's body by using her unique magic to absorb a portion of Lucifer's mana. Because Lucifer is nowhere near his full power here in the human world, Lichita's plan succeeds. But before he disappears, Lucifer manages to pierce Lichita's torso. As he disappears, Lucifer vows to return and attack Liebe again. Lichita knows that her time is running out and that she won't be able to protect Liebe next time Lucifer comes to get him. So she uses her other ability, the ability to seal anything without magic inside an inanimate object, to seal Liebe inside a 5-leaf grimoire that she found at some point before she had met Liebe. That is how Liebe ended up inside the grimoire, the same 5-leaf grimoire that would eventually choose Asta as its owner. Lichita then presumably died from her wounds, but Liebe was saved as Lucifer could not get to him while he was sealed inside the grimoire. And while sealed away, Liebe grew older and stronger, but he also spent all of his time brooding and seething. He just lost the only person who was ever kind to him, and he was alone in an empty place, all because of Lucifer. Not only did the devils ruin his life while he was in the underworld, but they now also ruined his new life and killed his mother in the human world. Liebe became obsessed with the idea of getting revenge on the devils and destroying each and every one of them. Not gonna lie, he's kind of the Eren Yeager of Black Clover. A devil who wants to destroy all the other devils, a Titan shifter who wants to destroy all the other Titans, saw his mother die in front of him, traumatic backstory, anger issues, it's all there. While he was inside the grimoire, Liebe's anti-magic abilities began to manifest. Now, this might have been a latent ability that he was always going to manifest anyway, or it might have been the result of Lichita's absorption magic. In my previous Black Clover video, I speculated that maybe when Lichita sealed Liebe inside the 5-leaf grimoire, she accidentally sealed away some of her own absorption magic and maybe even some of Lucifer's magic that she had just absorbed just before she died. Perhaps absorption magic and Lucifer's devil magic, along with the remnants of leaked sword magic, all combined inside the 5-leaf grimoire, and that is what created what we know today as anti-magic. If Lucifer accidentally contributed to the creation of anti-magic, then it would explain why it is so powerful and why it is so effective against other devils like Zagred. Since Lucifer is probably the strongest devil, it makes sense that any magic that comes from him would be very OP. And since Lichita's magic was to literally absorb the magic of others, it isn't too much of a leap to assume that the ability to negate the magic of others and use it for yourself might have been created by mixing Lucifer's magic and absorption magic. And of course, we know that the swords came from Licht, who also had extremely powerful elf magic. I am definitely curious to find out more about the true nature of anti-magic and its mysterious origins. In the meantime though, we have to get back to Liebe. We know that he's not a bad guy, and both Lichita and Asta are able to recognize that right away. But by the time that the 5-leaf grimoire finally chooses Asta, Liebe is already obsessed with his hatred for Lucifer and the devils, and getting revenge is the only thing that drives him. We saw how furious Liebe became when he and Asta lost to Lucifer and Dante, and partly as a result of this defeat, Liebe decided that he must take over Asta's body by force. It's not necessarily that Liebe wants to hurt Asta or to manipulate him, but he is so blinded by hatred and the desire for revenge that he is prepared to do whatever it takes to take out Lucifer. Since Liebe thinks that Asta is weak due to the fact that he has no magic, he doesn't trust Asta in battle, and he thinks that he will be stronger if he assumes direct control over Asta. I can understand where Liebe is coming from based on everything that he has been through, but it is so ironic that he underestimates Asta just because he has no magic. We know that Liebe faced literally the same stigma, since he too was born without magic in a world where virtually everyone else had magic powers. It's almost as if Liebe is projecting his own insecurities on Asta, and so he is dismissing Asta as weak because Asta reminds him of himself. Liebe feels that he was too weak to protect his mother, and he hates himself because of it. So his feelings towards Asta are just a projection of his true feelings towards himself. Or at least that is my professional opinion as someone who definitely is not a psychiatrist of any kind. Once he is summoned into the physical world by Noct, Liebe decides to fight Asta and force him to submit to his control. But just like Liebe himself was always underestimated by the other devils, Asta was underestimated by Liebe. Asta demonstrates that even without magic, he has incredible physical strength, speed, stamina, and swordsmanship technique. And so Asta is actually able to hold his own against Liebe. I just love the relationship between Asta and Liebe so far. In many ways, they are so similar. They both suffered inequality and discrimination for their entire lives, and in all likelihood, they shared the same mother. At the moment, Liebe's obsession with revenge is clouding his judgment, and he also doesn't seem to know that Asta was Lichita's son. And that is why he is trying to take down Asta and possess his body. But I believe that eventually, Asta and Liebe will develop a strong bond. They can both relate to each other's pain. Growing up as outcasts who were mocked and looked down upon because of their lack of magic, they both overcame impossible odds in order to survive and become impressive warriors. If it turns out that Lichita is indeed Asta's mother, which seems highly likely at this point, I bet that Liebe will come to understand that helping Asta, Lichita's first son, is a chance for him to honor his mother and return the kindness that she had once shown him. I predict that after Liebe works out some of his anger issues, he and Asta will come together to form an impressive team of adoptive brothers who are both fighting for the same goal. And I can't wait to see their brotherly bond develop. Let me know what you guys think. Are you happy that we finally got Liebe's backstory, and did you enjoy learning the secret history of the anti-magic devil? Personally, I loved it, and watching Asta and Liebe work out their brotherly drama is something that I'm really looking forward to. What do you think is going to happen next, and how powerful do you think that anti-magic can become when both Liebe and Asta learn to work together? Don't forget to leave your feedback down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more Black Clover content right here on the channel, please leave a like to let me know. It really does help. And if you're new to AnimeUproar, or maybe you just haven't subscribed yet, make this the video that you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. You really have to go through the trouble of hitting that bell and then selecting the option that says all. If you don't do that, you're still gonna miss a ton of our videos even if you are subscribed. It's annoying, but that's how YouTube works. You can also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys!